Hello and welcome to Somerville Highlanders Softball on Somerville Ed TV. I'm Todd Harmon from Trum Field, where today the Highlanders will complete their Greater Boston League schedule against the Everett Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide come in with a record of 15-4, 11-2 in the GBL. They can win this game and solidify a first place tie with Lynn Classical. As we are just underway, the Highlanders, first pitch offering from Nora Donovan on the mound for the Highlanders is in there for a called strike to Emma Longmore. Longmore is a second baseman for the Crimson Tide. Longmore puts a charge in it, but right back at Donovan, who makes the play. Good quick reaction there from Nora Donovan, and one away quickly for the Highlanders here in the top half of the first inning. Highlanders with a 6-12 record on the regular season, 3-8 in the GBL, looking for a fourth win in the GBL today against Everett, as that's in there for a called strike to Jayla Davila, I should say. Davila is the center fielder. Young freshman out there for Everett. Highlanders a very young team as well. Donovan on the mound today. She's a sophomore. As that's in there for a called strike, moves the count to 1-2 strikes now to Davila. That's a grounder to third. Coco with it, fires across, and Ardolino's able to dig it out. 5-3 put out. Second out of the inning for the Highlanders. That'll bring up Christy Skane. Skane's the right fielder, a junior for Everett. Checking with the umpire, making sure of the call. Got to say, whenever I see an umpire make a call, short of a video replay, I've never seen a coach or a player make them change their mind. Head coach Stacy Schiavo for the Crimson Tide. They are going to appeal to home plate. And on the appeal, home plate umpire agrees, defers to the field umpire. So the second out of the inning, that will bring up Christy Skane, facing off against Donovan. As that one's inside for ball one to Skane. 2 away here, top half of the first inning, just underway at Trum Field. As the Crimson Tide come in to face off against the Highlanders. Nora Donovan on the mound this game. Second meeting between these two teams on the season. They met back on April 18th. It was a mercy rule game, unfortunately. After 4 innings, Everett took the victory 21-1. As they scored 7 runs in both the second and the third innings of that game. That one's fouled off down the third base side. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now the count to Skane. He's talking to Highlanders head coach Paul French before the game, asking him about that game that occurred back in April. Starting pitcher on that day was Nikki Grover. Grover, an excellent pitcher for the Highlanders, really struggled with her control that day, accounting for many of those Everett runs. Is this a line shot foul down the third base line? Runs the count full. Everett, as I mentioned, coming in 11-2 on the season in the GBL. A win will put them at 12-2. That will tie them with Lynn Classical. As this is a line shot up the middle into center field. Skane is on with the single. That'll bring up Kaylee Ross. Ross, a junior catcher for the Crimson Tide. Talking about the GBL standings, Lynn Classical lost to Everett earlier this week, giving Everett the opportunity to possibly tie them for first place. They are 1-1 against Lynn Classical throughout the season. So that's fouled off on the third base side for strike 1 to Rossi. Very young team the Highlanders have. Only one senior on the team. That's catcher Ava Hardy. It's a swing and a miss on that one. Runner Skane able to take second base. As Hardy let it get behind her. So Everett with a runner at second now, 2 away. Top half of the first. Pitch is just up high for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Rossi. Highlanders looking to get out of the first inning, not allowing any runs. Everett was able to score in all 4 innings when they faced the Highlanders back in April. So that pitch was in the dirt. Ball 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count to Rossi. Donovan's pitch is fouled off again on the third base side. Count remains 2-2. That's a fly ball into left field, settling underneath it, making the catch for the Highlanders. Kaylin French, as she pulls that one right in, that'll do it for the first inning. We will move to the bottom, tied up at 0. We are back for the bottom of the first inning, tied up at 0, as the Highlanders will have coming up to face off against the Everett Crimson Tide, numbers 1, 2, and 3. Nikki Grover leading off, Kaylin French batting second, Ava Hardy batting third. They will face off against Celeste Fucillo. Fucillo on the mound today for the Crimson Tide. Watching her warming up, she has some electrifying velocity that she can bring the ball with. First offering to Grover, you see right there that velocity. So it just blew right past Nikki. Oh, 1 now. And Grover grounds that one towards second. Fielded over there, tossed over to first. And that is the first out. That'll bring up Kaylin French. Kaylin looking to face off here against Fucillo. That one's catches the inside corner for a called strike. Everett having an excellent season this year, softball-wise. 1 ball, 1 strike now, as that was high and away for ball 1. 15-4 overall. Only 2 losses in the GBL. So they lost to Malden Enling Classical. Bunt is put down. Well played, though, as Yuga charging in from third base, able to make the play. That'll bring up Ava Hardy. Hardy, as I mentioned, only senior on this Highlander squad. Very young Highlander team. That one's in there for a called strike at the knees. Looking to build with a 4-win season here in the GBL. Looking to get a 7th win overall. That one was up high as she squared around the bunt. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count to Hardy. That's down low for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, now the count. That's up high. Ball 3. Fucillo struggling a little bit with the control right now. It's 2 away here. Bottom of the first. High chopper towards third. Thrown over to first, but thrown too far towards home. And Hardy will be in at second after the errant throw from shortstop Musucci. Highlanders have something brewing here in the bottom of the 4th as Kayla McWeeny steps in. McWeeny's a shortstop. She's a young freshman for the Highlanders. Ava Hardy stands at second, 2 away here, bottom of the first inning of a tied 0-0 ball game. That pitch is in there for a called strike at the knees by Fucillo. That's a line shot foul down the first base line. 0-2 the count now to McWeeny. Took a little bit off that one, and a swing and a miss by McWeeny. They will fire it down to first base to secure the strikeout, and that will do it as the Highlanders score nothing here in the first inning. We will move towards the second, tied up at zeros. And we are back here at Trum Field for the top half of the second inning. Highlanders versus the Crimson Tide. Scoreless as we move to the top of the second. Coming up for the Crimson Tide will be numbers 5, 6, and 7. Maria Babcock, Masucci, and Fucillo. They will face off against Nora Donovan. Nora Donovan pitching today, starting for the Highlanders. Able to hold the Crimson Tide off of the scoreboard that first inning. We have a hold up here. The athletic director for the Highlanders getting some important paperwork signed by our home plate umpire. This is the last game of the season, regular season, for the Crimson Tide. Next time they will play will be in the Division I state playoffs. Probably a preliminary round game for the Crimson Tide, as currently they are ranked 39th in the MIAA Power Rankings. You can find those MIAA Power Rankings at MIAA.net. Really very easy to be able to find the power rankings in each of the spring sports. You'll also be able to find the playoff pairings next week on Wednesday. Those will be available on MIAA.net as well, as they will come out Wednesday the 31st. Highlanders will have some playoff participants this year. The baseball team will be going on into the playoffs. Volleyball team will be as well. Highlander softball team, very young squad. 6 wins so far this season. 2 more games on the schedule. They have a game tomorrow as well as they finish off their season tomorrow here at home against Wakefield, a game postponed from a couple weeks back. We are ready to rock and roll here. Paperwork has been signed, and Donovan ready to pitch. First offering to Amelia Maria Babcock. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Maria Babcock, young player as well, a freshman starting here for a quality Everett squad. So we'll be getting to see her play against Somerville for years to come. That's popped up. Ava Hardy takes control of the situation and catches that pop-up. 1 away here, top half of the second inning. That'll bring up Gianna Masucci. Masucci, a sophomore. That first offering from Donovan swung on and missed by Masucci. Highlander softball field having some renovations done. Got a scoreboard out in right field. Not 100% completed as Masucci swings and misses. Strike 2, 0-2 the count now to Masucci. Scoreboard has a pile of dirt underneath it. If the camera pans out there at any point in time, there is a pile of dirt underneath the scoreboard as that's hit to Coco. Coco knocks it down, fires it across. Not in time though. Masucci is on. The infield single there on the hot shot to Coco. That'll bring up Celeste Fucillo. Fucillo, the pitcher for the Crimson Tide today. 1 away here. Top half of the second inning, scoreless game between the Highlanders and the Crimson Tide. Masucci away, trying to steal. Close play. Masucci's able to get in, though, just before the throw for the stolen base. Trying to see whether that pitch was in there. I think it was in there for a strike. We'll put it down as one for right now. Fucillo grounds it to short. Fired across the diamond. And safe as Ardolino moved her foot off the bag early. McQueenie's throw got there in plenty of time, but Ardolino took the foot off the bag. Now we're going to have a pinch runner in for Fucillo. Checking in, I'm having a hard time seeing the number. That is number 8. Donovan throws a strike in there. Throw down to third, trying to get Masucci. Gets past Coco, and Masucci goes in and scores. With all that action going on, Ashley Seward, the pinch runner, was able to advance. Now a pop fly gets out just onto the outfield grass, drops to the ground as Yuga gets the RBI. 2-0 now the score as Everett has the lead. Coach French going to go out and have a little conversation with Donovan. Brianna Mason up at bat for the Crimson Tide now, 2 runs in. As this is popped right over towards us. And that's a foul ball for strike 1. It's Coach French talking to his starting pitcher, Nora Donovan. The 2 runs allowed. That one's in there for a called strike. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Mason. Yuga stands at first. She had an RBI single into center field, as that's just outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count to Mason. Masucci had come in to score on an errant throw after she had led off third base. Leaving the Crimson Tide up 2-0 right now. 1 away. So that one's up high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count. The inning started off with Amelia Maria Babcock as she popped up to the catcher, Ava Hardy. 2-2 offering is up high. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count. Full count offering to Mason in the dirt for ball 4. 1 away. Crimson Tide will flip their lineup over back to number 1 hitter Emma Longmore. She lined a shot right back to Nora Donovan, back to lead off this inning lead off this game last inning, I should say. Runners at first and second for the Crimson Tide as that one's inside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Now the count to Longmore. 2-0 is the Crimson Tide lead. So that one's up high by Donovan. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count. Talented hitting team like Everett. From the pitching viewpoint, as that one's in the dirt, but swung on for strike 1. 2-1 the count now to Longmore. Talented hitting team like Everett. from the pitching viewpoint, you try to kind of guide the ball in. You don't just go with your normal rotation, your normal what you do. That one's lined down the left field line. Donovan doing a nice job out there, trying to keep this Everett rally down to a 2-run rally. 2-2 is the count to Longmore. There is one away here in the top of the second, as that's up high for ball 3. Count runs full. Donovan, line drive. Coco fields the soft liner, fires it to second. They're going to double him up as they're able to get Yuga away from second base. Good heads-up play there by Coco. That will do it for the top half of the second. We move to the bottom with the Highlanders trailing 2-0. We are back for the bottom half of the second inning. Highlanders trailing 2-0 as Everett was able to get 2 runs across in the top half. Numbers 5, 6, and 7, Samantha Coco, Aliana Tejada, and Jordan Ardolino. Coco, a junior, up there at the plate right now. So that one's in there for a called strike. Fucillo on the mound for the Crimson Tide, showing some nice variation in her velocity, able to get a strikeout to end the first inning. In there for a swinging strike. Fucillo, very difficult to handle on the mound, as that's in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count. Thought that first pitch was a strike, but it was not. That's a grounder, but Fucillo quickly able to get the chopper and fire over to first. 1 away here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Tejada. Eliana Freire Tejada comes up to the plate. She's a young sophomore, so everywhere you look on this roster, you see players you're going to get to see down the road, as that one's up high for ball 1. Tejada chops that one foul on the first base side. 1-1 now the count. Highlanders trailing 2-0. As that one's in there for a called strike. Catches the top part of the zone. 1-2 offering now from Fucillo. That one's just high for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count. Fouled back. Catcher unable to catch it. Count remains 2-2. And there you see, just taking a little bit off, but a great job by Tejada. She slowed the bat down a little bit, was able to just barely foul that ball and keep herself alive in this at bat. Another 2-2 offering coming from Fucillo. Another foul ball there. Tejada got it on the hands there. Eighth pitch is this at bat now, as Tejada is keeping herself alive. Fucillo's taking a little bit off. And Tejada there, unable to catch up with it, as Fucillo ratcheted up the velocity for strikeout. That is the second out right there. That'll bring up Jordan Ardolino. Ardolino, the first baseman for the Highlanders, a junior. That one's inside for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Artolino. Good shot there. Artolino looking for the gap. Drops it in right in front of the right fielder. As Skane gets it back to the infield, but Artolino's on first with a good single there for the Highlanders. That'll bring up Nora Donovan. With the runner on first, Artolino. That one catches the inside corner to Donovan for strike one. Donovan on the mound for the Highlanders today. Looks to help her own cause here with the bat. That one's up high for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. Two away here, bottom half of the second. Highlanders down by 2. That one's catches the upper part of the zone for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Donovan. Good shot there by Donovan out into left field. They'll have to play it on a hop. Artolino is safe in at second. Back-to-back singles. Highlanders have something going on, and Emma Benevento comes to the plate. Ball just barely got down in front of Maria Babcock. So the Highlanders back-to-back hits now against Fushilo with 2 outs. So that one's in there for a called strike. That one catches the inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Emma Benevento. 2 outs. No opportunity for a sac bunt or anything like that with the 2 outs. Runners on first and second of a 2-out game, or 2-run game. Benevento grounds it to second. Tossed over to first, and that will do it for the Highlanders as the threat is turned away. We have a 2-0 game as we move to the third. We are back for the top, I should say, of the third inning as the Crimson Tide leading 2-0 will bring to the plate numbers 2, 3, and 4. Davila, Skane, and Rossi facing off against Nora Donovan for the Highlanders. Donovan has pitched very well thus far. Pitched out of a situation last inning. Is that one by Davila? Swinging bunt bounces off the glove of Donovan, and she was unable to get to it. So Crimson Tide have their leadoff batter on. That'll bring up Christy Skane. Skane 1 for 1. She singled into center field in the first inning. She was left stranded at second. That one's fouled off. Runner was away. Davila, she was away with the pitch. Everett active on the base paths. That's a line shot into left field, coming into playing it, knocking it down, keeps it in front of her, fires to third. Coco now will fire to second, trying to get Davila. Throw, I should say, gets past. And on the errant throw, Everett able to move runners up as Davila winds up at third. Skane with the base knock winds up at second. They're going to come out and check on left fielder Kaylin French. Got the softball to the face there. Coach Paul French heading back to the dugout after checking in on his left fielder. Also his daughter as well, so Kaylin's doing great out there though. Got a weird bounce to the face. She's doing fine though, and we will move on as Kaylee Rossi will pop this one up. Lost in the high sky though. Coco lost it in that sky. McQueenie unable to make the play on it, and that's going to be determined as a foul as it went foul off the funky spin. Nobody had touched it. Huge amount of backspin from Rossi there. This one's popped up as well, first base side. Ardolino ranges over in foul territory, making the play. That'll bring up Amelia Maria Babcock. Maria Babcock popped up in foul ground, fielded by Ava Hardy back in the second. Runners on second and third, a 2-0 game. Maria Babcock lays down the bunt as Donovan fields the bunt, tosses it to first. Run scores from third. Throw is late. So Maria Babcock is on with the bunt base hit. Davila scored. And we have a 3-0 lead for the Crimson Tide. Skane moving up to third base on the throw. That'll bring up Gianno Masucci. Masucci singled back in the second, came around to score Everett's first run. A line drive, foul on the third base side. Masucci also a stolen base on the day. Everett leading 3-0 now. They have a runner on third, one away here, top half of the third inning. That's a good hit by Masucci out into center field. Booted around a bit there. French will field it, fire it back towards the infield. 2 runs come in to score as Masucci clears the bases with a double. $5-0 is the Everett lead now. As Masucci gets those 2 RBIs, that'll bring up Fucillo. Fucillo singled back in the second. She came around to score as well. So that one's in there for a called strike by Donovan. Strike 3, my bad. Sorry about that. Strike out of Fucillo. That'll bring up Alexa Uga. Uga was able to plate a run back in the second, and she got an RBI single. So that one's in there for a called strike. Donovan pitching very well right now, looking to get out of this trouble after 3 runs have come across for Everett. They lead 5-0. Donovan pitching well out there. Everett just a very high quality team, excellent hitters in this lineup. As that one's left up high, 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count. Masucci stands at second. She had a 2 RBI double earlier this inning, plating the 4th and 5th runs for the Crimson Tide. That one's down low by Donovan. Ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike, now the count. See Ava Hardy running the ball out, making sure Masucci, who already has a stolen base on the day, doesn't have any opportunity to break away. That's a foul ball by Yuga. Evens the count 2-2. Two outs here. Top half of the third inning. Everett leading 5-0. That's in there for called strike 3. As Donovan strikes out the last 2 Crimson Tide members she sees. It's 5-0 as we move to the bottom of the third. We are back for the bottom of the third inning. Highlanders trailing 5-0 to the Crimson Tide of Everett. Highlanders will have coming to the plate the top of their order: Nikki Grover, Kaylin French, and Ava Hardy. Grover led off the game, grounding out to second base. She squared around the bunt there, left up high by Fucillo for ball one. Everett now has the 5-0 lead after getting 3 runs in the top of this inning. As Grover fouled that into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to Grover. Fucillo showing variation in her velocity on the mound. Highlanders have been able to get a couple of hits against her, but she has been excellent so far. Nice bunt there by Grover. See if she can leg that one out. Nice play by Fucillo as she's able to fire it down to first base just in time. 1 away here, bottom of the third. Kaylin French will come to the plate. Kaylin grounded out to third back in the first inning. That's in there for a called strike. Pop up. Fucillo off the mound quickly, able to take care of it. That'll bring up Ava Hardy. Ava, the lone senior here on the Highlander squad. She reached by virtue of an error, and she was left stranded at third back in the first inning. Pitch is in there for a called strike from Fucillo. Fucillo now staked to that 5-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Looks like she's locking in a bit. Left that one up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count. Left that one up high as well. 2 balls and a strike. Two away in the bottom of the third of a 5-0 Crimson Tide lead. Ava Hardy looking to get something going here for the Highlanders. She pops that one up, left field, into foul ground, or right field I should say, into foul ground. Skane making the play. I was thinking about the alteration in the foul line a little bit. That was in foul ground though. We are back for the top half of the fourth inning. The Crimson Tide will bring up numbers 9, 1, and 2 in their batting order: Mason, Longmore, and Davila. Mason walked back in the second inning. She was left stranded at first base. Nora Donovan has been pitching in and out of trouble. First offering that time, a ball down low. Everett got 3 runs in the top of the third, as Masucci highlighted that with a 2 RBI double. That's a fly ball into left field. French ranging back. She's underneath it and makes the play. One away now. Crimson Tide flip the line. Diamond, and McWeeny gets the put out that time. Two away here. Brings up Jayla Davila. Villa bunted to get on base back in the third, looking to square around and do the same here. That is foul. Davila bunted to get on base, a bunt single in the third. She came around to score on the RBI single by Maria Babcock. Swinging 2 outs. 0-2 is the count. We are back for the bottom half of the fourth inning. Highlanders trailing 5-0. They will bring to the plate numbers 4, 5, and 6, McQueenie, Coco, and Tejada, as they try to break through against this very difficult pitcher, Celeste Fucillo. Fucillo has excellent control that she's shown. She's only gone to 3 balls against 1 Highlander batter, and that was Ava Hardy back in the first inning. Kaylee McQueenie steps in. She struck out back in the first. Swing and a miss right there. You see that velocity that Fucillo can bring to the fore. She varies off of that. She'll drop a little bit from the velocity. She'll also drop it down knee level, as you just saw. No balls, 2 strikes, the count to McQueenie. That one's up high, swung on and missed as McQueenie goes down. 1 away here. So that'll bring up Samantha Coco. Coco grounded back to Fucillo to start off the second inning. Fouled off on the first base side, strike 1. Mentioned the only Highlander batter to get 3 balls against Fucillo was Ava Hardy in the first inning. Tejada in the on-deck circle had an excellent at-bat in the second inning, but it did result in a strikeout. Swing and a miss there by Coco. No balls, 2 strikes now the count. Fucillo looking settled in here on the mound. She left that one up high though. 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count to Coco. Bottom third, I should say, of the Highlander batting order. That's where they've done their hitting. As Ardolino, the number 7 hitter, and Donovan, the number 8 hitter, both have singles. That's left up high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, now the count to Coco. And that one is a swing and a miss. As that's out number 2 for the Crimson Tide. That'll bring up Tejada. Tejada 0 for 1. She struck out in the second. That was an excellent at-bat. She struck out on the 8th pitch that she saw. So that was up high for ball 1. Up high, ball 2 to Tejada. 2 balls, no strikes, now the count. 2 away here. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Highlanders trailing 5-0. That one shot down the first base line, but foul. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Fucillo takes a little bit off the velocity that time, tries to change it up a little bit. She runs to her second 3-ball count of the game. 3-1 now the count to Tejada with 2 away here. Bottom of the fourth. And that one left up high as well. And the first walk of the game issued by Fucillo. That will bring up Jordan Ardolino. Ardolino singled into right field back in the second inning. Going to have a pinch runner come on for Tejada. Higgins coming in. So Brooklyn Higgins will run for Tejada. She is at first. Ardolino at the plate, 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th. First offering from Fucillo to Ardolino in there for a called strike. Swung on and missed, strike 2. It's Fucillo looking for her 3rd strikeout of this inning. Ardolino staying alive, files that back into the screen. Pinch runner at first is Brooklyn Higgins. 0-2 offering, swung on and missed. And that will do it, strike 3. And that is the 3rd out of the inning, as Higgins was taking second, but the swinging strikeout does it for the Highlanders in the bottom of the 4th. We move to the 5th. We are back for the top half of the 5th inning. Crimson Tide leading the Highlanders 5-0. They will bring to the plate numbers 3, 4, and 5. Christy Skane, Kaylee Rossi, and Amelia Maria Babcock. They will face off against Nora Donovan on the mound for the Highlanders. Donovan making it through 4 innings, allowing 5 runs. It's her first offering to Skane, down low for ball 1. Skane 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles into the outfield. Excellent hitter for the Crimson Tide. That one a ball as well. Thought that one might have caught the corner, but count goes to 2 balls, no strikes now to Skane. Ground ball, third base, goes foul. Moves the count to 2-1. Donovan pitching well out there, doing a nice job keeping this excellent Everett offense down to the 5 runs that they have scored. There's been a decent amount of traffic on the base paths through the first 3 innings, but a 1-2-3-4 helped the Highlanders out as McQueenie, ranging across behind third base, makes the play. Excellent play there by Kaylee McQueenie. Denying a hit right there for Skane. That'll bring up Kaylee Rossi with 1 away. Rossi 0 for 2. As that is a called strike in there. She flew out to left field and popped up to first. Swing and a miss. That's fouled, actually. No balls, 2 strikes now the count to Rossi. That one just inside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count to Kaylee Rossi. Maria Babcock waits on deck. She has an RBI single earlier this game. That's a pop-up third base side. McQueenie, another ranging catch for Kaylee McQueenie. Two away now. So the Highlanders look for a second straight 1-2-3 inning against the Crimson Tide. Maria Babcock is who stands between the Highlanders and that goal. And Amelia's shot is out into left field. French settles underneath it and makes the play. 1-2-3, the Crimson Tide go down once again. We move to the bottom of the 5th. We are back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. Highlanders trailing 5-0 to the Crimson Tide of Everett. The Highlanders will have coming to the plate numbers 8, 9, and 1. Nora Donovan, Emma Benevento, and Nikki Grover. Donovan 1 for 1 on the day. She singled back in the second, was left stranded at first base. Donovan also pitching very well for the Highlanders out on the mound. Swing and a miss on that first offering from Fucillo. Fucillo just pitching excellently out there, showing a lot of velocity, but also changing that velocity. As that's a good shot there by Grover as it goes foul, just foul down the right field line. A long, loud strike there for Nora Donovan. No balls, 2 strikes now the count. Fucillo showing that velocity that she has. She's been pitching using that excellent velocity up high, down low, knee level as well. She's only walked 1 so far today, and there is yet another strikeout for Celeste Fucillo. That makes 6 on the day. That'll bring up Emma Benevento. Benevento grounded out to second base back in the second inning. A bunt there by Benevento. Great bunt. Ranging out from behind the plate is the catcher Rossi, and she fires it down to first. An excellent job there by Kaylee Rossi. As she sprang out from behind home plate. That ball just deadened right in front of the plate, just like you want it to, as the Dust Devil comes right up into our camera position. Benevento bunted that ball perfectly, but it was played even more perfectly by Rossi. That'll bring up Nikki Grover, the leadoff batter for the Highlanders. As Fucillo leaves that one up high for ball 1. 1 ball, no strike. Now the count to Grover. 2 outs now. Bottom of the 5th. Highlanders trailing 5-0. Grover thought about squaring around that time. Did not. Ball was in the dirt for a ball. Swung on and missed. That's a high heat that Fucillo has been bringing. Then she'll break one off knee level. And what you see right there, take a little bit off of it. Took a little bit off that changeup, basically. Got Grover out ahead of it. 2-2 is now the count. Fucillo looking for a 7th strikeout. She picks it up as she has settled in nicely. A 1-2-3 inning. Highlanders go down. We move to the 6th. Highlanders trailing 5-0. We are back for the top half of the 6th inning. Highlanders trailing the Crimson Tide of Everett 5-0. Nora Donovan still on the mound for the Highlanders. She will face off against numbers 6, 7, and 8. Masucci, Fucillo, and Yuga. Masucci hits that one foul down the third base line. Masucci 2 for 2 on the day. A single and a stolen base back in the second. She came around to score as well, and also a 2-run double in the third. So Masucci hits this one foul down the left field line. 0-2 now the count to Masucci. Highlanders looking to get Masucci out for the first time today. Donovan has pitched very well. The Highlanders have gotten the Crimson Tide to go down 1-2-3 in the past 2 innings. Everett got those 5 runs in the second and the third. That's a pop-up short center field. Benevento comes in and makes the play. So they're able to keep Masucci off the base paths, which is very nice. Masucci loves to be active out there stealing bases. That'll bring up Celeste Fucillo. Fucillo pitching for the Crimson Tide today. She's 1 for 2 at the plate. Singled and scored a run back in the second inning, and she struck out in the third. That one's down low. In that third inning, after the Crimson Tide had pulled ahead 5-0, they had a runner on second. Donovan struck out the next 2 batters that she saw as Fucillo fouls that off on the third base side. Donovan struck out the next 2 batters that she saw. Since then, she's notched another strikeout and guided the Highlanders through 2 straight 1-2-3 defensive innings. So Nora's done an excellent job. She settled down after allowing those 5 runs and has really held the Crimson Tide off the scoreboard here in the last 2 1/3 innings. That one's down low in the dirt for ball 2, 2 balls. And a strike, the count to Fucillo. Down in the dirt as well. One away here. Top half of the sixth inning, Crimson Tide leading 5-0 over the Highlanders. That one's in there for a called strike. Runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Fucillo. Excellent job there by Donovan. Took a little bit off, made sure she got it across. Left that one up high though. On the payoff pitch, Fucillo will go down to first. Second walk of the game for Donovan. Brings up Alexa Yuga. Yuga had an RBI single back in the second inning, struck out looking to end the third. Fucillo being pinch run for. I believe that'd be Seward, who's been brought in to pinch run. And Seward leads away. Ava Hardy will look her back. That's in there for a called strike to Yuga. 5-0 Crimson Tide lead. Highlanders trying to keep them off the scoreboard this inning. As Yuga hits that one right up the middle. Fielded quickly by Benevento and gotten back to the infield. Runner stops at second. So Seward will be at second. Yuga will be at first. One away here. Top half of the sixth. Brianna Mason at the plate. Mason 0 for 1 on the day. She walked and was stranded at first base in the second. She flew out to center in the fourth. She squared around to bunt. Did offer at it, so that is a strike. She was looking to advance those runners with one out. That one's down in the dirt for a ball. Seward halfway to third, turns around as Hardy looks her back. That one also in the dirt for a ball. Hardy bounces out from behind home plate, looking the runners back. One out here in the top of the sixth. Everett with 2 runners on. One on first, one on second. Brianna Mason at the plate. Thought about bunting. Ball's left up high for ball 4. That will load the bases for the Crimson Tide as they turn their lineup over. Emma Longmore will come to the plate. Longmore 0 for 3 on the day. She lined back to Donovan in the first, lined out to third in the second inning, and grounded out to short in the fourth. Bases filled with Everett Crimson Tide. That's a line shot into left field. French is going to play it on a hop and get it back to the infield as quickly as possible as Seward comes around to score, and the Crimson Tide lead is now 6-0. Brings up Jayla Davila. Base is still loaded here. So that one's up high for ball 1. Time is called. Is Coach French going to come out? Talk to his pitcher, Nora Donovan. Conversation on the mound is over. One away, bases loaded. Jayla Davila at the plate. Highlanders bring the infield in. That's left up high, ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Davila. Davila 1 for 3 on the day. She singled and scored back in the third. That's in there for a called strike. Fired the ball to third base. keeping a close eye on Yuga at third. Yuga is at third, Mason at second, Longmore at first. Pitch by Donovan in the dirt. That'll run the count to 3 balls and a strike to Davila. Highlanders trailing 6-0 here in the top of the 6th. That's a fly ball into left field. French will play it. Great play there as French played it on a hop. They do get the run across as Yuga scores on the fly ball. Mason, running from third, is out trying to get to third as French made a perfect throw to Coco to get that out. So now 2 away. Runners on first and second as Davila stands at first, Longmore at second. Skane up to bat. That's in the dirt for ball 1. Skane 2 for 3 on the day. Singled in the first, singled and scored in the third. That's in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count. Hardy running the ball back. Keeping an eye on Longmore at second. That's popped up over the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count to Christy Skane. Highlanders have allowed 2 across this inning. Score is 7-0. Everett runners on first and second with 2 away. Donovan leaves that one up high for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, now the count to Skane. That's a fly ball into short right field. Tejada will field it on a hop. Coming around looking to score is going to be Davila. Instead, she goes back to third. Throw over to Coco. And now Skane will take second on the throw. Run scores. That's Longmore coming in, making it an 8-0 game. Davila stands at third. Davila stands at third. Skane stands at second. 2 away here, and Kaylee Rossi at the plate. Rossi 0 for 3 on the day. Hard hit ball right through the middle as Rossi is going to get 2 RBIs on this one. That will make it a 10-0 Crimson Tide lead on the 2 RBI hit by Rossi here in the top half of the 6th. Brings up Maria Babcock. Maria Babcock grounder to Coco. Coco stays in front of it, knocks it down. Can't make the play though. Rossi will be at first. Maria Babcock at second. Maria Babcock will be at first as Gianna Masucci comes up. Masucci 2 for 3 on the day. She flew out to start this inning as the Crimson Tide have batted around. Left up high by Donovan. That's a fly ball into left field. That's going to stay just fair as it goes all the way out into the outfield. French will get it in. McQueenie will run it back into the infield. Another 2 RBI hit for Everett, and that will make it a 12-0 lead for the Crimson Tide. Two RBI double right there by Masucci, brings up Fushilo. We'll see, this is a 12-0 game now here in the top half of the 6th inning. That will be the mercy rule in effect. After the 4th inning, a 12-run lead will end the game, and that is what has occurred as the Crimson Tide will come away with the 12-0 victory dam broke in the 6th inning as they got 7 runs across to put this game away. Winner will be Fucillo. She will be the winning pitcher. Nora Donovan will take the loss, but Nora pitched very, very well against a very, very difficult Everett lineup. That's going to do it for us here. I do want to make a quick note before we go out. Please make sure you're watching, sharing, and subscribing here on the Somerville Ed TV YouTube channel. We have gone past 1,000 subscriptions. We greatly appreciate that, and we hope we can grow upon that. So make sure you do like, share, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. That's going to do it for us here from Trum Field as the Crimson Tide defeat the Highlanders by the score of 12-0. Thank you very much to Bill Trudell on the camera, Joe Constantine with the production. I am Todd Harmon, and you have been watching Somerville Highlander Softball on Somerville Ed TV.